16th of April. Doesn't time fly? It comes and it goes. And we're a little bit older and we're a little bit wiser for the experience. So today, what I'm going to talk about is non-domestic septic tanks, primarily the cube septic tank, one of the most popular selling septic tanks in the UK. And so let me start by defining what I mean by domestic and non-domestic septic tanks. Okay, so let's start with the term domestic. All right, so what do I mean by the term domestic septic tank? Well, basically a domestic septic tank, right, is connected to a property where you or I live with our family 24/7. It's a place that we call home. They say an Englishman's home is his castle, so it's our castle, right? And that's basically how a domestic septic tank is defined, all right? So somewhere where you and I live with our family 24/7. If you haven't got a family, the point is that's where you live 24/7 on your own, all right? And yeah, now the reason I'm telling you that is because domestic septic tanks have a completely unique set of rules and regulations governing them. For example, a domestic septic tank has to have a CE mark, all right? So the British government deem that domestic septic tanks have to have a CE mark. They also have to have a certificate of conformity. And that certificate in this instance is called the EN 12566-3, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself there. It's a -1, all right? So it has to have an EN 12566-1 certificate. That basically means that it's been designed and manufactured in accordance with the requirements as laid out by the Secretary of State, all right? So that is basically what a domestic septic tank is. Now, a non-domestic septic tank is basically the opposite to a domestic septic tank, all right? So let me put this on. So a non-domestic septic tank basically is designed for buildings that we don't live in 24/7. So they could be stables, right? It could be a mobile home. So, for example, say we were building a house, all right? Say we were building a house and we needed somewhere temporary to live while the house was being built. That would be called, oh, my brain's gone blank today. That shows it's live, doesn't it? That would be considered a temporary residence, okay? Although we're living in there 24/7, 7 days a week while they're building our castle or our home, the law considers that as a temporary residence, okay? So you can fit a non-domestic septic tank to a mobile home. So it's brilliant for stable blocks. It's fantastic for mobile homes, for workshops. Say you've got a workshop down the garden, or say you're a business industrial estate and you've got workers there who need to go to the loo. You can connect a non-domestic septic tank to a workshop. You can connect it to a garden shed, outhouse, man alive. I mean, for example, let's say you've got an allotment, right? And you've got a little loo down there, or you've got some kind of little shed or shack or building where people, hang around in. You can connect a non-domestic septic tank to that. A summer house. Oh man, I could just go on. A greenhouse. I don't know how many people, my pen's running out as well, look at that. So a greenhouse, all right, that's a bit better, isn't it? And I was just thinking of somewhere else then. So we've got stables, mobile homes, workshops, garden sheds, outhouses, summer houses, greenhouses. Oh yeah, log cabins, tents, caravans. So you get the idea. So a non-domestic septic tank is ideal for any of those situations. And the beauty is, with a non-domestic septic tank, there are hardly any rules or regulations governing them. So that means, right, that you can literally put one in without having to apply for any planning permission or building regs or anything like that, because there is no legislation governing non-domestic septic tanks. I mean, the only reason a government authority would become involved in your decision to put a non-domestic septic tank in would be if it was a pollution risk, all right? If it was a pollution risk, or it was some kind of health hazard, or you were a very, very, very irresponsible person and it was near a public place and people could fall into the hole and fall into the tank. So apart from those kind of variables, there is no building regulations governing non-domestic septic tanks. That's why they're so popular. So now, let me just because I'm an independent septic tank consultant, that means, you know, I'm not in the pay of any septic tank company. So I like to think that the information I give out is completely non-biased, right? Non-biased. People, when hopefully they watch my broadcasts or my videos, can make an informed decision. I give them the bad and the good, the pros and the cons, and they can take that information and then come to their own conclusions. So I've just shown you the difference between a domestic and non-domestic septic tank. One of the most popular selling ones in the UK is called a cube septic tank. Now, let me show you. See, let's hope I can draw this cube okay. All right, so it's called a cube because it looks like a cube, okay? And the particular one that we manufacture, it comes in a steel cage, like so. And there you go. That's what it looks like. And it has an inlet pipe, and it has an outlet pipe. And the basic dimensions of the cube septic tank, it's very small. So that means anyone can install it. Whether you're a novice, whether you've never put a septic tank in before, maybe you're fantastic at putting septic tanks in. The point being is, right, with a little 1.5 ton mini digger, right, you can get this cube septic tank in under an hour, right? I'm going to show you how to install it now. So if I just draw, so when it comes, it has a little riser attached to it, something like that, okay? You can trim down, and it comes with a lid, and it comes with a frame, metal frame. All right, so if I now put the grass as level with the lid there you go. So, oh, it's not too bad. I'm getting better at this drawing thing. So this is, so if I just spell it out here, this is called the cube septic tank, okay? And so the dimensions of this cube septic tank are, it's literally 1.2 meters. So it's just like, if you imagine that, I mean, I'm 6'2", so if I just stand on my tiptoes, it just comes under my belly button height-wise. So it's 1.2 high by 1 meter wide by, I think it's 1.2 long. So as you can see, it's a very small septic tank, and it only requires a very, very small hole. And literally get yourself a 1.5 ton digger, 3 ton digger, something like that. Then what you do, you dig a hole. So if I outline the hole here, Okay, so if I outline the hole here, there we go. And the easiest way to do this is to just put it in and backfill with sand or concrete. Personally, I would use concrete because then that means it isn't going to pop out of the ground if it rains heavy. Because you've got this steel cage around it, it adds a secondary form of protection, because inside that cage obviously got the skin or the wall of the tank itself. So what I would normally do to keep the costs down, I'd get something like 30, 40, maybe 50 of the Portland yellow cement bags. I'd leave like half a foot space between the side of the tank and the wall of the hole. And I'd just cut the Portland bag cement open, tip it into each of the sides there. And when I'd done maybe 3 or 4 bags each side, I'd sprinkle it with a bit of water from a hose pipe or a watering can, not a lot, just a bit, and then empty some more Portland cement in and then repeat. And what that does, I don't know if you've ever seen these Portland cement bags. They're kind of like that and like that. Sometimes moisture's gone into them and they've set like a rock. And so the reason I've said that is because as soon as moisture gets into the cement powder, it will set like a rock around the tank. So it won't implode and it won't pop out the ground. All right, so how this works is you'll have from your mobile home, your caravan, the water will go into here, and it will fill up. The water will fill up inside the tank, and it will reach the height of the outlet pipe here. All right, and so that leads to your soakaway. For the soakaway for the cube, I would just use dig a little soakaway pit, maybe 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. Fill it with some gravel, and just have the soakaway pipe going into there. In fact, if I just show you, look, if I show you, then you'll get a better sense of what I'm saying here. So, okay, so that blue line coming out there is the wastewater. So let me just go over those lines again there. All right, and so then here, there we go. That would be the soakaway pit, and the soakaway pit there would be filled with gravel. And as I said, it would be something like maybe 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, or 3 foot by 3 foot, etc. And so then the wastewater comes from your summer house, your log cabin, your mobile home, whatever, stable blocks, goes into the cube. It then comes out, and then it trickles down into the soakaway pit, and then slowly just percolates and soaks into the soil. So that's how the cube septic tank works, and that's how easy it is to install. So as I said, that's a non-domestic septic tank, and you can, if you need to sink the tank lower, like let's say for example, right, that's the tank there, and you needed to sink it, say, another foot or 2 foot into the ground, right, you can actually get risers that you can put on top of here. Obviously that's sticking above the ground, but the point is the risers fit on top of there, then that would push the tank down further. Well, not push it down, but you could lower the tank down further into the ground. So then that would then be the grass level here. So let's say you sunk that deeper into the ground, right? The grass level would then be there, all right? And so by extension, everything else would then tally up. So there you go. So yeah, so that's why it's very, 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 very popular septic tank. Price wise, I've tried to keep the price down of these cubes. At the moment, they're just £299. At the moment, I've managed to keep the delivery really cheap. It's 59 quid delivery, and then you've just got VAT on top. So there you go. So that's the cube septic tank. So that's a non-domestic septic tank. It's not meant, as I said, for a house where you live 24/7 with your family, but it's designed for almost every other dwelling up and down the country, you know, such as stables, mobile homes, tents, caravans, some houses, stable blocks. I think I've already said that. So there you go. So if you're after a non-domestic septic tank that that you can put in without being tied and shackled to all the rules and regulations that govern domestic septic tanks, then definitely the Cube septic tank is worth checking out. So listen, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. If you'd like more information or to watch more videos, then there you go. Go to septictank.co.uk. Or ring me anytime. I'll give you free help, free advice. As I said, I'm a septic tank consultant. I consult for the Environmental Agency and UK building regs. I'm conversant with building regulations law and everything to do with septic tanks and soakaways. And that's why I love septic tanks. I really do. And soakaways. And I love helping people. So listen, I'll speak to you later with another broadcast, another live Q&A. But you take care, and I'll speak to you soon.